How's it going, guys? It's your boy Mike from Seattle, and today I have with me a very special guest, someone who's been following my channel for a long time and whose channel I also follow, Mr. Hyrum Gomez. Hyrum, go ahead and tell everybody, hey.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, so the reason I really wanted to have Hyrum on is because the goal of my channel, as always, is to help people get started investing in real estate and overcome some of the fears of getting started. So Hyrum owns 3 rental properties, and he owns a 4th property that he lives in. So he has 4 total pieces of real estate. And I'm going to have him explain to us a little bit of his background. So Hyrum, why don't you real quick just kick us off? When did you start investing in real estate? What year?
All right, so I actually have quite a bit of trouble saying what year because I actually bought my first property back in 2018, but I didn't really buy a property as an investor until 2020. So you can make of that what you will, but I consider myself investing in real estate since 2020, so since 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would say first time you owned real estate, it was a step in the right direction. For a lot of folks out there who watch my channel, they don't own anything. So just owning something would be a step in the right direction. But okay, 2020 is when you first started focusing on trying to become a real estate investor. So
Yeah.
why? What prompted you to do real estate? Why how did you find it?
Well, dude, I was doing network marketing actually before investing in real estate. And the whole thing about network marketing is it's built around this idea that you can quit your 9 to 5, that you can live the life you want on your own terms, being your own boss, and having all the money that you need for the rest of your life, essentially, right? So you can retire from your job and have everything that you want. And when I realized that for me that didn't work, and I mean we can make a whole video on why I quit multi-level marketing,
Right.
but I'm not going to get into all that right now. But I mean, yeah, essentially, after I quit network marketing, I still had that in my mindset where I want to make money. I know that waiting on the government to help me out, especially for retirement and my future financially, that's not really going to work out. And I need to take matters into my own hands. So I need to look for another way to make money, even though it's not going to be network marketing. And so I just started looking online, man. I was just scrolling through YouTube, and I guess the algorithm already knew who I was and started showing me videos from Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin and a couple of other real estate YouTube channels like Bigger Pockets and whatnot. So from there, I started really getting interested in real estate because all that those guys talk about is being free, right? And having that financial freedom through
Yes.
real estate investing. And when I saw that most of those guys were as young as we are, I was like, dude, I need to get on this right away. Like, how can I do it? Like, let's start watching all these videos. And that's when that's when I really started. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so that makes sense. And as far as the multi-level marketing, network marketing thing goes, that's nothing to be like. Yes, we can't spend the entire time devoted to it, but what I dislike about those is when they're trying to sell you the same thing you see with like people who are trying to sell you how to trade and make money investing in stocks or cryptocurrencies or now NFTs. Uh,
Yeah.
is it's hey, don't you want to quit your 9 to 5 job? Wouldn't it be great if you could create passive income for yourselves? Wouldn't it be great if you could be stepping out of a Ferrari like I'm stepping out of a Ferrari in whatever YouTube ad you're stuck watching? And so it's
Yeah.
frustrating because sometimes some of these other business ideas give a bad name to legitimate or better business ideas like real estate because people become disenfranchised and they get their hopes dashed and like, well, I failed at this, I guess it can't be done. But in your case, you decided network marketing's not for you, you didn't want to do it, but you still wanted to achieve that goal, and so that's what drove you to research real estate, and you found Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin back in their glory days before they sold out, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's so funny because I mean, all they talk about now is very mainstream ideas, and they kind of go with the flow of what everybody else is doing,
Yeah.
right? And that's what gets more views. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't blame them. Right now, everything's about stocks and NFTs and
Mm-hmm.
all of that jazz. But I mean, and they'll never shy away from admitting that that's how they actually got started was through real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, 100%. That's one of the reasons why I hope channels like yours, like my mentor Mark, or hopefully like mine, kind of get bigger because, a lot of people watched Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin because yes, they were entertaining and yes, they had high production value and sure, very very clickbait titles and stuff. But back in the day, they actually provided some valuable content that educated you and how to invest and potentially how to look at a deal and markets and manage properties. That long gone are those days. Now it's a very basic financial advice, or either that or very speculative NFT stock whatever the flavor of the day is for clicks. So I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad that's the way it went. But it allows hopefully people to find an interview like this between us where they can relate to someone like you who's not a multi millionaire. You're a regular guy with a blue collar job. You work in the oil fields of Texas. Tell us about that.
Yep.
How long have you been down there doing that job?
So yeah, just real quick, that does leave an opportunity for us, man, because like these real estate gurus, right, that made it big, whenever they started with their videos, they were already multimillionaires with real estate. And so when they came out with their videos, they would talk about, the millions of dollars of real estate that they have, which in turn for a viewer would be almost unrelatable in a way. And
Right.
so it's so cool that we have this opportunity now too, to talk about real estate from the beginning, right? Not from like already having millions of dollars and investing in hundreds of thousands of dollars homes, but just very, I don't want to say cheap, but like almost starting inexpensively, like with inexpensive homes, and then working our way up. So
Right.
I think that could be very relatable to all the viewers out there.
Mm.
But yeah, dude. So along with that, like I still have my W-2 job and I work out in the oil field. I work in the pipeline specifically. So I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen pump jacks, but those pump jacks pull out product from the earth. That's oil. It can be gas as well and water. And so all of that gets separated and then it goes into a pipeline. And that's what I take care of right there. I take care of starting up new pipeline and maintaining the pipeline that already exists. So we can deal with leaks. We can deal with things getting stuck in the line and having restrictions and a whole bunch of other things. But I mean, it's a tough work because you're working outside, right? So we're working whether it's 100-degree weather or it's 15-degree weather.
Cold.
And yeah, dude. I mean, we're out there working. So that's another thing is that a lot of these guys started as real estate agents and they don't know too much of that hard labor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm out here busting my butt, and that's why I really want to become free, through real estate, is so that I don't have to be out there all the time and I can devote more time to my family as well.
Right, right. Yeah. And so, I mean, really what I want people to take away is, a lot of times we get caught up listening to the bigger podcast and they're interviewing somebody who has 100 units and they're a part-time nurse, and it's like, well, that's amazing. That's fantastic. How'd you do that? That's great. But it's okay to be at the beginning stage. It's actually good to watch people in the middle of the grind. So you're a 9 to 5 work. Well, actually, as you told me, you work 8 days on, 6 days off. You're also married. You've got 2 kids, so you're a father. You're trying to balance life with work and your family life. And on top of that, you own 3 rental properties. But luckily, you do use a property manager. Can you tell us about the decision as to why you decided to use a property manager and not self-manage?
Yeah, I didn't want to really deal with the stress. I was already stressing out enough about buying another property because what happened was me and my wife bought a starter home. Okay. And we bought this not as investors. That's why I said earlier, we bought it in 2018, right? And that was supposed to be our starter home. And we were going to sell it and move into a bigger house that we really wanted. But somewhere in that point where we were living in that house, I decided to go ahead and invest, right? Mm-hmm. And to me, that meant that I was going to move out of that house and rent it out and then buy a fixer-upper that I can move into and fix it while I lived in it. And so that changed my whole mindset of what I originally had, Mm-hmm. And so dealing with all that really made me not want to think about the tenants and worry about if they're going to pay rent, if they're going to break something or anything like that. I wanted to go ahead and have someone else deal with that.
Right. And how has your experience been when it comes to rent collection from your property manager? Is your property manager doing a good job? Are you frustrated with them at all? What's your experience been like?
They've been pretty good, but at the same time, I am a beginner investor. Mm. And so I don't know what to compare them to. But as far as rent collection goes, everything has been pretty well. At first, we actually collected money through PayPal, and then they PayPal'd it over to me, and it just went into my account. And now we actually set up a different account that's, I guess, more official, and I can keep track of everything. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I don't believe there's any sponsors for this video, but we use simplifyem.com, or at least that's what they use. And then that's a software that can go ahead and take that rent money in, make an actual detailed overview of all the money that goes in, and then it will go into my account a few days later. But the only bad thing about that is that they should be paying the rent on the first of the month, and I believe that they do. but then it takes like 5 days to go into that Simplify account.
Hmm.
And then after that, it takes like another 5 days to go into my account. So I really get my rent like at the 10th of the month. And I don't know what the experience is of other investors, but that's usually when I get my rent money.
So most of the property managers that I know of are actually even more delayed than that. So if the tenant owes rent on January 1st, and
Yeah.
there's potentially like a 5 day grace period, they got to pay between the first and the fifth, and
Yeah.
then after that they incur a late fee. The way that my property manager, both of them handle it, is they collect the money at the beginning of the month and they hold on to it all the way to the end of the month till the next month. And then on the 1st of February, that's when they do their disbursement. So they're always a month
Wow.
behind. And the reason for that is because throughout that month, there may be repairs, there may be some sort of issue or something that costs money, emergency fixes, especially when you start to get a lot of properties. Mark, my
Yep.
mentor, who has like 20 something properties, every month he's at least got something that's gone wrong, broken. Something, when you have that many properties, something happens. Not major, it doesn't affect your cash flow. So they
Yeah.
hold on to the money and then they deduct from that money whatever their expenses may be. Maybe someone's moving out, they got to do a security deposit refund, that type of stuff. And then on the 1st of the month, with one property manager, it's supposed to be like the last Wednesday of the month or something is when we get our disbursement. So it'd be like the last couple days of the month. And then my new property manager, he's like the first of the following month is when you get it. So for me, it's not really a big deal because you're just a month behind always, but I don't
Yeah.
really worry about it too much. So
That's interesting, man. I've never heard of that. Because yeah, for me, I think the latest that I've gotten it is like the 14th of the on any month,
mm.
and so it's usually between the 10th and the 14th. But that's very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, and I assume just different states, different property managers probably handle it differently. And so long as you're aware of what's going on, you can
Yeah,
decide whether you like it or not. So
yeah.
you're using a property manager. You have three properties. You've been investing, your words, since 2020. So this is your technically your third year, calendar year, that you'll have been investing. What are your plans to grow?
Well, um, that's it's funny that you asked that because I feel like at least in my situation, not everybody has to do that or do this that I'm about to say, but I'm actually studying to become an agent myself.
Okay.
And the whole reason behind that is because I really want to know everything that there is about real estate, especially in my area that I'm investing in. And it seems like with any agent that I talk to, they're not 100% knowledgeable on what's going on
Right.
or what I ask them about the market.
Mm.
Like it's so funny. Like my current agent, I mean, I'm not trying to diss her. She's been a great help and everything. But I remember one time she was showing me a property, and I asked her, "So what is your like goal for cash on cash return? Like, what are you trying to reach whenever you buy properties?" Because that real estate agent is actually an investor, and she owns 40 properties. That's why I decided to have her represent me
Right.
as
Right.
my agent.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, and so she was answering a lot of my questions, helping me out with lending questions and things like that. But when I asked her like, so like, what kind of return are you looking for on your rentals? She just basically told me she didn't even look for that. She didn't even know what that was, and I was like, oh,
Wow.
okay, then like I guess you have a completely different metric that you measure the performance of your rentals by. And she's like, I kind of just buy them. And I was like, okay, like
Wow.
yeah, and
At
she's
least
got
she's
plenty of
honest.
rentals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's honest, and I mean she's been very good for me and stuff. But like I want to be the knowledgeable agent that knows everything, because like how is she not going to know the performance of her rentals in this area? Like that's what I want to know. And I can't get a straight answer from any agent, so I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to learn the market the right way, having the tools that agents have. And so yeah, I mean that's for the future, or at least within for this year. I have the goal to get a duplex. I really want a duplex, especially after watching your videos, dude. Like duplexes are where it's at. Graham Stephan started with duplexes,
Hmm.
and shoot, like I think that like once I own a duplex, my portfolio, or at least the performance of my portfolio, is going to skyrocket, because right now I have only 3 single family homes, and with a duplex, I think it's just going to compound even faster. And again, watching your videos just motivates me, so I want that. The only thing is that I have 4 houses that I bought probably just within these last 3 years, and so I'm kind of cash poor right now.
Hmm.
And so the way that I want to get this duplex is through an owner finance deal. And so, especially becoming an agent, I think I will eventually have all of those right connections that will put me in place to find that kind of deal before the year ends.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good strategy. I mean, obviously, number one, if you're an agent and can represent yourself, then you can save some money on the purchase. Obviously, that's a benefit to you. Number two, you may have access to the MLS, which you don't have now, so you can kind of go direct to the market. You don't have to wait for somebody to send you a good deal or hope they have the right boxes checked to send you everything you want to look at. So that's a good deal.
Yep.
But I really think you'll have the benefit, and believe it or not, when I retire from being a police officer and I hopefully move to Florida within 5 years, I too think that I may try to be a real estate agent because as an experienced investor, I can speak the language, and I myself have seen how not all real estate agents know really how real estate investors think. And I can't remember the statistic, but it's something like 80% of real estate agents will never own a rental property. So a lot of them are just in it to help people buy and sell homes and get their commission, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a needed service. But 100%, I love my agent in Indiana. I love my agent here in Seattle, but I don't trust them to run the numbers on a property. I trust them to tell
Yeah.
me about the neighborhood, to look at the house for me, to tell me about the local schools, all of that type of stuff. But when it comes to running the numbers and understanding that aspect of it, that's on me.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we got for this one. We're going to have another video coming up next. Hyrum, thanks for joining the channel. Where can people find you on YouTube?
Just with my name. The channel is my name, so it's Hyrum Gomez. You can find me there.
Perfect. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.